everyone, my name is Courtney. You definitely want to check out these fall DIYs. Let's get crafting. Let's jump into this project. So this is going to be another scrap wood project. You might remember the scarecrows that I made a couple weeks ago. And this is just a 2x4, and you'll notice at the top I wasn't trying to get a perfect pointed triangular top. I wanted it a little, I don't know, whimsy, kind of off-centered, because these are going to turn out to be more of a whimsical fall craft. Now to do that, I did use my miter saw, but you could use a jigsaw. You could also just use a miter box if you don't have any power tools. I started by grabbing some black paint and started painting both of these blocks on all sides. I was going for probably about 90 to 95% coverage. I did want a little bit of the wood to show through to kind of give a little bit of a distressed vibe. Now, I want to show you this because this was my original plan, and you guys know I like to keep it real. So what these blocks are turning into are crows. And so I had these little wooden round pieces from Dollar Tree that I thought I could paint and use as the eyes. And then I had the little wooden plaque thing also from Dollar Tree that I could cut with my 10 snips miter shears and cut a kind of triangular beak. After I did it, I just really wasn't digging the vibe, and so I decided to go ahead and sketch out the eyes and the beak with a pencil. Now again, I am trying to make these a little more on the whimsy side, so as you can tell, my eyes are not the same size. They're kind of, I don't know what you want to call it, like just kind of cuckoo. I don't know. And then I also sketched out the beak. I grabbed paint markers using an orange paint marker for the beak, black and white for the eyes, and then of course I used some white to add some highlights here and there, and I just sketched that all out and then filled it in with my paint pens. To finish off the crows, I grabbed some twine and I wrapped it around 3 times and just kind of wrapped it willy-nilly, just where it was crisscrossing, and then I tied it off and secured it in the back, trimming off the extra pieces. And then I had these little sunflowers and decided to just hot glue one of those on there, and then that was it. They were both finished off this way, and I think these are so cute. These will be added to my scarecrow wood blocks. Let me know down in the comments, do you want me to try to come up with yet another wood block fall DIY? You will want to grab one of these pumpkins from Dollar Tree for this next project. Start by taking the raffia bow off. You can save that for later to put it back on. And then you need to grab some brown wax. Now, I am choosing to use brown wax, but you definitely could use paint if you wanted to. What this is going to turn into is a gorgeous faux stained glass pumpkin. So with the brown wax, I painted the pumpkin, I guess on the back piece. I did not paint the 3 raised pieces, and as I painted on that brown wax, I just took a baby wipe to kind of wipe off that excess wax. Now again, you definitely could leave it natural if you wanted to, or you could even paint it if you'd like. Now we need to make a template of these 3 pieces here, because that's what's going to turn into the faux stained glass. Now this is just how I like to do it. You may have another way. If you do, definitely leave it down in the comments. Always looking for good tips and hacks. But what I like to do is just take a piece of chalk and outline the edge of these 3 little pieces. This works with any sign that has a raised wood piece. You just want to outline it with some chalk, then take a piece of cardstock, place it down on top. Preferably make sure the cardstock is a little bit of a darker color so that you'll be able to see the chalk. Rub all over the cardstock, and then when you flip it over, that chalk design will transfer, and now you have the exact templates you need to cut down the paper. Now I know some people will put paper on there and then just do the kind of filing off the edges. That's another way you could do it as well, but I don't know, this is the way to ensure that they will fit perfectly. So I've got my template pieces, and I'm just going to cut these out so that I can use these to get my stained glass ready to be applied. Now, here are the stained glass graphics that I have got. I wasn't quite sure which one I wanted to use. I will definitely link these down below in the description box if you want to grab those, along with everything else from today's video. I printed these images out on vellum paper. You guys have seen me use some vellum paper for different crafts recently, so definitely a good investment if you want to pick some of that up. And once I picked which design that I wanted to use, I took those template pieces, placed them down on the vellum paper, and then I did use Scotch tape to tape them to the vellum paper, because when you trim around the template, that Scotch tape isn't going to end up showing. So it was just a way for me to keep that template steady. And I cut out all 3 of these pieces so that I could get them applied to the pumpkin. It's time to get these pieces attached. Now, I used Mod Podge to attach my pieces to the pumpkin. I personally would not recommend this. I did do a very, very thin coat, and I knew I was taking a risk. The vellum is just so thin, and I should have I wouldn't recommend it. I would suggest either using a glue stick, or if you do want to use Mod Podge, let it dry completely, and then take your stained glass vellum pieces, set them down, and then take either a piece of parchment paper or a piece of Teflon sheet if you have that, and then apply some heat to it and activate the Mod Podge that way, and it might work. I did end up with a few little wrinkles, but honestly, they're not that noticeable. But again, I would probably choose a different type of glue at this point. But once those are attached, I did not put anything on top of it, and then I just reattached that not twine, but the raffia bow with some hot glue, and this just turned out so pretty. I absolutely love how it looks. Got one of these double pumpkin signs from the Dollar Tree, and for this one I just need that back pumpkin, so I separated the 2 pumpkins, and then I originally was going to make a candy dish. That's why you're seeing the tray here, but I did change my mind and decide to do something else. I just kind of smoothed out the paper there and removed the raffia bow. Then grabbing a piece of scrapbook paper that I had in my stash. This came from Hobby Lobby. This is one that they have every single year. I traced around the pumpkin, and then using a glue stick, I applied the scrapbook paper to the pumpkin. Now you need some type of small sign or even a wooden box lid from one of those wooden boxes that Dollar Tree has. And what I'm going to do is just take some of that brown wax, and I'm just going to paint the inside of the side along with the sides. The actual sign portion is not going to be visible, so you don't have to worry about either staining or painting over that. Then what you want to do is attach this wooden box, I guess, to the pumpkin. I just used some hot glue, attach it to the base of the pumpkin, and then I wasn't quite sure if I wanted to reuse that raffia bow. I had some of these little pumpkin slices that I made last year, if I wanted to embellish any more, and I decided to just keep it simple, so I tied a twine bow and hot glued that to the stem portion of the pumpkin. And then this is just going to hold a candle. This is, every season I like to make a decor piece. I kind of have this little memorial shelf to my mom, and so this is going to be this year's fall piece. I'm going to put this candle in here. This was actually a gift from Shannon, the Daily DIYer, after my mom passed, so I just thought this was a cute, simple little piece to kind of make my mom's shelf a little more festive. You will need a styrofoam pumpkin from Dollar Tree for this project. So I actually started doing something else with this, and then it started to look just like that quilted pumpkin that I made, and so I scratched that idea. So now I'm going to do something else with it, even though I've already kind of cut this sucker up. But what you want to do is grab yourself one of these styrofoam pumpkins. You want to cut a hole at the top of the pumpkin as well as the bottom of the pumpkin. Now this is a very simple DIY. We are just going to cover this with some of this fun yarn, this chunky yarn. I got this from Michael's. They have all kinds of colors, white, gray. You could do do green. And I am just going to cut strips, tuck it into the hole, and then bring it down around the pumpkin and then tuck it in there using hot glue to secure it. I am going to just do each piece individually, and I'm going to continue to go all the way around this pumpkin until it's completely covered. For the stem, I'm going to use some of these wooden round pieces from Dollar Tree. I'm going to hot glue 4 of them together and glue this and kind of stick it into the pumpkin. And then I'm going to leave it simple. You could definitely add a bow or some florals to this if you wanted to, but I absolutely love this little fuzzy pumpkin. Need one of these flat canvases from Dollar Tree, as well as one of these wall decor pieces. So this is a leaf. You guys might remember I used the pumpkin one to make that mug coaster in a previous video. Again, I will have everything linked down below, as well as the other projects I mentioned in today's video with those videos down below for you. I started by removing the twine and beads from this leaf, and then I grabbed some fall fabric and I pressed it with my mini press to get out a couple of those wrinkles, and this is what I'm going to use to cover my canvas. So I'm going to use some fabric Mod Podge and apply that to my canvas, and then I'm going to make sure that this fabric wraps all the way around and covers the entire thing, and then I will secure the back of the fabric to the back, or well, I'll secure the fabric to the back of the canvas using some hot glue. Now, one thing to keep in mind when you're working with stripes, as you can see here, I pulled tight in some spots, so my lines are a little wonky on this, but I'm okay with that. And so what I need to do now is my leaf is going to be attached to this canvas, and I will use hot glue to get that attached, but I need to drill a hole into the leaf. Now, I was going to use my rotary tool, but I have lost the drill bit for that. And so I just decided to go ahead and grab my drill. If you don't know, this is Natalie from Design to the Nines drill. It's called the Athena. Y'all, it's amazing. So if you're in the market for a power drill, I will link it information down below. It is so good. So I drilled a hole in the leaf, and then just using one of these screw-on hooks, I screwed in the hook, and then I secured the leaf to the board, and then all I'll need are some 3M strips, and I can hang this up. This is a great little fall piece that you can hang your keys on, or maybe just a light sweatshirt or hoodie. Probably nothing super heavy, but it's just a cute kind of extra fall decor piece for some of those everyday items you use. In July, you might remember the Kindness Rocks project that I encouraged you to participate in. So let's take a look at some of the rocks that you guys created. That is going to wrap up another round of fall DIYs. Let me know down below which one of these projects was your favorite. And today's Get to Know You question is, what was the top grossing movie the year you were born? For me, it was Rocky. I would love to know down below. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Here are some more videos you might want to check out, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.